Hi and welcome to Historical Geology here at West Valley College. I'm Robert Lopez, your instructor. So here I am on our Canvas West Valley College dashboard for the classes that I'm teaching, but our class will be this Geology 1B. So you want to click on this one here. This should take you to the home page, and on this home page you're going to see some information about the class here, the textbook that we're using, and the lab kit that we need to do the online hands-on lab. So this lab kit will come with fossils, with beakers, with rocks, with minerals, with a little scale to measure the weight of rocks and minerals. So a variety of tools you need to complete the online labs. Let's look at the syllabus. Tab is up over here. And in the syllabus here, I have a syllabus quiz based on the readings here, but here I introduce the course in a little bit more detail, and you'll see that I have some office hours here. Again, we could also set up a live chat on Canvas, or maybe we can communicate through Skype if you need some additional help. But you want to read through this about the textbook that we'll be using. I do have the 7th edition, all the chapters as a PDF, so I'll put those in for reading. But I recommend you get the 8th edition because the lectures that I do are going to have figures and they're going to really refer to this 8th edition. And I found a pretty good deal on the e-textbook at vitalsource.com. And here you can rent the 8th edition for, I guess, 120 days. Will probably be in June sometime, so that would be that'd be a good deal there, but I'd do the 180 days just to make sure. Here's some information about the Geology lab kit. So for this lab kit, the key thing when you order it, register, you make an account with esciencelabs.com. They're going to ask you for a college or a university. Make sure you put West Valley Community College, and then you can enter this kit 7016 with no spaces, and then it'll find our custom lab kit. So we do have a custom kit. I took some things out to reduce the price. Again, you will not be able to pass this class without the lab kit. So you're going to be reading this. Again, there's a syllabus quiz. You can see in the Canvas course, I present all the materials in this modules tab, so we'll go through that in a moment. In terms of homework due dates and deadlines, I'm going to have everything due every week. Every module's assignment, every week's assignment will be due on Sunday nights. So the first assignments are going to be due February 3rd for Chapter 1. Again, you're going to be reading through this. You'll note that we have Canvas quizzes. The quizzes are not timed, and I let you take those quizzes 2 times, right? So yeah, 2 times. And that, again, my philosophy on these quizzes, it's exposure. You're seeing this again, and you're getting a second look at it, a second try, and it'll sink in a little bit better there. Once we get to the exams will only have 1 attempt. I'm not going to time them, so take your time on them. So you want to make sure you have a good internet connection that's not going to cut out on you, but you'll only have 1 attempt for the exams. You'll see that for each topic, each chapter that I discuss, each module, I have a series of study questions that go along with my video lectures, because I present the course in terms of video lectures, and you're required to take notes on my video lectures, and then the study questions are based on those video lectures. So you want to be able to answer those questions, because when I write the exam, I use these study questions to write the exam. So if you can answer these study questions, you're going to be in good shape for the exams. Here's a tentative points breakdown. In the class schedule, we do have a field trip, but the field trip is not mandatory. You don't have to go. I'll say more about it in a moment, but it is worth some extra credit points, right? So that's a significant points there. You can see I have some of the exam dates, when their due dates are. And then if you need additional services, I'm not timing anything, so you should be okay in terms of having extra time. But if you need extra help, you can contact DESP here on campus. As we go along here, this course is going to take at least 10 hours per week. If you kind of break it down in a traditional face-to-face course, because this is a 4-unit lecture lab course, we would meet 3 hours of lecture, and then an additional 3 hours for a lab. So that's 6 hours of just face-to-face time. And then for lecture courses, for every hour you meet on campus, you need to have about an hour to an hour and a half of homework. And so that'll add another 4 to 5 hours to that. So if we take the 6 plus 4, you're looking at about 10 to 12 hours. So that's why I put 10 hours per week. And then I recommend going to the West Valley College e-learning webpage here that I linked to, and then watching this video, and there's some testimonials about the time commitment students put into their online classes. Then I do have a study form. It's an open form, and I call it questions from students for students. So here, if you're having trouble answering some of the study questions, you can pose the questions to your fellow students, and you can sort of answer each other's questions. So take a look at that. And then we have some other, so here's the field trip information. We are going to go to Death Valley and the Eastern Sierra Nevada. This is a class that I took a couple of springs ago to the Eastern Sierra Nevada over by Mono Lake. You don't have to go for the whole trip. If you can only go for part of the trip, that'll work fine. We'll talk more about the field trip as the date gets closer. It's a beautiful area. Again, what materials do you need? Good internet connection, the textbook, the historical geology lab kit, and some other pieces of information here. Here's tips for success here. I want to make sure you read through that. Please ask me questions. I will get back to you usually on the same day or certainly within 24 hours. And here I have a course breakdown for assignments and what we want to do in this course. And then at the bottom here for the syllabus, you'll see we have the quizzes and assignments that are due for that particular week. I have the first 2 weeks up. I'm going to get these other assignments going as we go along in the semester, but I'm two weeks ahead of you. You'll see as we go along here, I'm going to be putting more assignments up there and filling out the course modules. So when we look at the modules, we'll see the first Chapter 1 and the study form, field logistics, syllabus quiz. These are due February 3rd. So here's that open study form where you can ask each other questions. Here's the syllabus quiz. So after you read the syllabus and watch my video, you'll take this quiz. And then as we get closer to the field trip, I'll add information about the field trip here. So this is a class from a few years ago. We camped out on the salt flats there near Death Valley. And then as we go to the Chapter 1 form, here you'll see each module will have a learning guide. The key thing about this learning guide is that it's a checklist, and I recommend printing this out. That way you can check off what you've done. And like I said, I do have the 7th edition as PDF files, so I provide the Chapter 1 here. So if you don't have your book yet, you can start reading the 7th edition there. Here are the PowerPoint lecture slides. You want to take the Canvas quiz. You want to do the pre-lab on geologic time in the solar system. You want to complete that geologic time lab. So the materials for this week's lab I provide for you already. It is through eScience Labs, but it's all computer access and pencils and scissors, so you have that stuff at home. And then because each video series that I make, you'll see that there's a series of study questions, right? So you'll watch my video lectures and you'll answer these study questions. And remember, I use these study questions to write the exams. So when we look at Chapter 1, you'll see I have the online video lectures, so you'll watch these videos. So I have about 4 or 5 video lessons there. And then you'll take the quiz based on the reading. So after reading Chapter 1, you want to take this Canvas quiz. Here's a lab. So for the lab, I have a pre-lab here. And you'll want to download the pre-lab. So once you click here, you'll see that I sort of have the breakdown of what to do. You want to read through this here. In fact, this is what I provided for you. Then you want to download the pre-lab down in here, right? So here's a pre-lab, and then you can answer the questions. And where you're going to submit this, you'll actually will submit this main portion of the lab. So that was a pre-lab. And this is going to be exercise 1 and exercise 2 for the lab. I also put the pre-lab here as well. But again, you're going to want to read through this. I give you some hints and tips as to how to do this lab, because I did this lab myself, and it's actually a pretty interesting lab. It's a really good introduction into geologic time and kind of spacing out what's happening over geologic time, and then seeing the immensity. You know, you basically are making this strip of geologic time, and you're seeing how the early part of Earth history is quite immense compared to when we start seeing fossils. Then as we go along, the second part deals with Earth's evolving atmosphere, or how it's changed over time. you'll be making one of these stacked bar graphs, and here I provide a video lecture that shows you how to do this. In fact, for that lab, I've even given you the Excel file here, kind of the newer version and older version of Excel, where you don't have to enter the data, and then you watch my video and I show you how to make that stacked bar graph, right? So anyways, this is the lab that you'll be doing for week 1, and that's going to be due on February 3rd. And then I have a little video here on where the water came from. That's just for background material. All right, so you can see as we go along here, then we'll have week 2, which deals with minerals, rocks. So same deal. We'll have the learning guide, my online lecture series. So I do quite a bit on igneous rocks and minerals here. I talk about sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. So in this class, we don't really go too much into the rocks, because that's more of the physical geology part of the course, but we need a good background. And later on, there's a whole chapter dedicated to sedimentary rocks, because one of the key things about sedimentary rocks is that's where you find the fossils, right? So sedimentary rocks are really clues to Earth's history, not just in fossils, but past environments of deposition and climate. So we'll look at sedimentary rocks in detail. So then there's a mineral rocks reading quiz for chapter 2. There's a visual quiz on rock groups. That's extra credit, so 5 points right there. Then I have a discussion forum. Here you'll want to read this short article about minerals from the United States Geological Survey here, and then there's a quiz that goes along with that reading. So once you read the material, then you take this quiz here, and here is a lab. So for this second week, this lab is from eScience. So you certainly will need your lab kit by the second week, because here there are rock samples and mineral samples you'll have to identify for this lab. And then the way it's set up, this paperclip just means these are handouts or assignments. Where you submit this lab is once you complete it, you're going to go to wherever you see this paper with a pencil. That's an assignment, so that's graded. So you'll go to this link here, and then you'll submit. You'll download the labs here, and you'll load the file into Canvas, and then I can grade it. Well, anyways, that's how we have there. I have, like I said, the first 2 weeks going, but you'll see I have the rest of the chapters set up here, and so really by the end of the first week, I'll probably have chapters 3 and 4 up there. And certainly by the end of February, I should have the rest of the course all published and good to go. But for now, we're set to go with the first 2 weeks. So you have plenty of work to keep you occupied. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. See you next time.